Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. As I mentioned on Twitter, I was going to review Malignant because I did just watch this movie. Beware of spoilers. I don't want to ruin this movie for those of you that haven't seen it yet and are looking forward to this movie. Now, before I review Malignant, I'm a James Wan fan, so this was difficult and disappointing for me. He has directed or produced some of my favorite horror movies: the Saw franchise, Insidious, Dead Silence, Annabelle Creation, and many others. The other movies were more believable, and yes, they had jump scares, but they melded together very well, in my opinion, to give us an impeccable story. They didn't have jump scares just for the sake of jump scares. And he told an incredible story in each one of his movies. I know he created Spiral, which for me had some issues, but it wasn't the worst film I have ever seen, and it's not one of his worst films, in my opinion. The beginning of Malignant started like many possession films for me, which I already had issues with automatically because it was so cliche. You got medics flying across the room, people dying in unnatural ways that are probably and most likely impossible for a human to do. However, as the movie progressed, it became something else than a typical possession film. I thought it was an interesting concept. I actually thought it was a great concept. Someone who can see a serial killer committing the horrifying acts. Sadly, once it's revealed that the killer is really Madison's parasitic twin committing the crimes, the whole thing fell apart. It was an interesting concept, one that hasn't been done before, so I had high hopes. However, it felt like watching a typical slasher film when Gabriel takes out the entire police department. The scene was just too over the top for me to believe. And it reminded me of action movies where the hero takes out all these bad guys and never has a scratch on them. It's impossible. Let's face it, it's impossible. Unless you're like a sniper or something, it's nearly impossible to do. And for Gabriel to do a lot of the things, they just weren't natural. Things he wouldn't be able to do as a human attached to a human body. It fell apart for me. James Wan does a great job with character development, and this story was no different. Gabriel had a motive for murdering the people he did, except for wanting to kill wanting Madison to kill her adopted mother's baby. That was because of pure jealousy. However, the others were all people who caused pain to Madison or Gabriel directly. Madison's husband, who was abusing her, their mother, who gave them away, the doctors in the facility, and the other staff members. That's a decent motive. I liked the backstory and the story for both of these characters. And like I said, it's not the absolute worst horror movie I have ever seen, and it's not James Wan's worst either. But it's not one I would watch again. Now, you know what I think. What did you think about the movie? Were you disappointed by anything? Did you have the same issues I did with the movie? Was there something else that you just didn't like about? Why? Why didn't you like the movie? If you enjoyed the film, what did you like most about it? Was there a scene that you found the most terrifying, creepy? What was it that made this movie good for you? I'm honestly curious. Because maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I just don't get scared by watching horror movies anymore, which is really disappointing. But I want to know what you guys thought. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Take care, my lovelies, and be well.